So good evening. My name's Kevin Ross, if we haven't met yet. I know that we're looking forward to a great season. I am the Pacific Northwest District Chair for the year, and with me on the line here is Adrian Riney, who is one of the staff members at Washington First Robotics and has been taking a big role in helping to organize all of this stuff this year. We have I'm going to go through some stuff that's very specific to for the teams, and hopefully we'll be able to get you guys thinking about some of the stuff we want you to think about, and start making plans for the upcoming season. And so, first of all, hey, you may or may not have heard this. We have a facility in Kent, and we just got our sign put up this week. We're very excited about that. This is, for those of you who don't know anything about this is our first foray into having a building. We have, you can see on the left here under the 8, and there's 7 next to it. Those are our 2 loading docks, and this is a 10,000 square foot warehouse where we've been putting together all of the field stuff for the upcoming FRC season. So we're pretty excited about that. We actually have a couple of offices and some conference rooms in there. We were averaging between about 10 and 30 volunteers a week on the weekends coming in to help us do a whole variety of different things. So pretty excited about that. All right, so now that we're doing, hey Adrian, can you mute yourself?
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. So the logistics of what's going on is we're going to try and get through this as quickly as we can, try and do it in less than an hour. Your microphone is muted by default, so use the question box. The slides and a recording of this presentation will be up a little bit later, and you can look on the firstsquad.org website under FRC season briefings. I'll be showing that to you here in a little bit. Okay, tonight's agenda. I want to go over the important dates that are coming up for the next 2 months. Then we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about changes or expectations for what's going to be happening in the pit areas, or the pit areas and a bunch of other stuff that's going to be happening at the district model events. We'll talk a little bit about the district model. Hopefully everybody has gotten a chance to come up to speed a little bit. So I won't delve into that too far because most of you have seen the presentation before, but hopefully it'll seed some questions in your mind, and if you have any, feel free to talk to me. We're also going to talk about the Dean's List judging, and then I'll finish up with what we know about the point system going forward. Okay, first a quick little plug. First is more than just FRC. We also have First LEGO League. If you're in Washington State and are interested in helping out with some of the other programs, First LEGO League is looking for adult judges to help be volunteers. So if you're available, we would love to have you volunteer to help out. FLL is really a lot of fun to be a judge for. It's a full day on either a Saturday or a Sunday. There's a number of events happening over the next couple of months. We'd love to have you or some of your mentors help us out with that. We're kind of looking for folks who are at least halfway through college or above or post-college to help us out with that. It's a kick in the pants. You'll end up wanting to do it every year for sure. If you go to volunteer.firstsquad.org, that's where you sign up. You can give us all of your pertinent information, and then be sure and find one of the events. If you click on the website, there's actually a part of the website. Whoops, I thought I had it up, but I didn't. You can find our events for the year. You can see we have a lot. We're doing 75 events this year between all of our programs. If you want to limit it to just FLL, you can click all these off and just go with FLL, and you can find any of the FLL events in your area. They're also displayed up here on a map. So register, set yourself up an account, click on events, find an event, and you can go ahead and volunteer for that event. Thank you so much for doing that. Really appreciate it. All right, there's our plug. Important dates that are coming up for you. Registration for the standard district model season is going to close on 12/5. That's Thursday. I believe it is a week from this Thursday. So hopefully everybody has picked their first and second district events. Some of the events are full in terms of, some of them are in waitlist mode, I should say. None of them are completely full, so if you're seeing that the event that you wanted to go to isn't available, go ahead and sign up and get yourself on the wait list. We should be able to let most of the teams in. The really full events are in Oregon. I believe Oregon City is quite full, and I believe that Auburn Mountain View is also quite full. The rest of them still have some spots available for you. Okay? Just as important as that is the next day, Friday, 12/6, payments are due to FIRST. That either means that you'll need to get on there and pay with a credit card, send them a check, or at least have your school send them a purchase order. Really important to get that done. We really appreciate you doing that. They're pretty sticky about that because they have to start putting together all those kits of parts, and they won't give you a kit of parts if you haven't paid on time. So please keep that in mind and get that process started. If your team's interested in playing a third play in the district model, registration for that opens on the 12th of December, which I believe is also a Thursday at 9 a.m. and 9 a.m. our time, and it's first come, first serve. We have almost all of our events have room available if your team would like to play for a third play. We're going to talk about that a little later. A number of teams hit me up every year going, why didn't anybody tell us about the safety animation deadline? So I'm doing it this year. Hey, look at that, I remembered. Also on 12/12/13, the safety animations are due. So if you've got some kids working with 3D Studio Max to do a safety animation, somebody needs to check that out. Third plays, registration closes on the 2nd of January. Just in case you don't know that, and the big one is the FRC kickoff events. They're all on Saturday, January 4th. Check with your local kickoff organizer to make sure that you know what time yours is at. Most of us are doing it first thing in the morning. I hadn't actually checked in with Spokane. I saw Christian was on the line. Maybe he knows and could type something at me in the chat box. I'm not exactly sure what time theirs starts. It'll be a great day, it'll be a great day that Saturday. We're all going to find out what the game is at the same time, and you'll get to pick up your kit of parts that day. The payments, so the other key date is 1/24/14. That's when the $1,000 fee for playing your third district event is due. So there was a question in the box about that. There you go. I just fire hosed you with the calendar of important dates. All of this stuff, by the way, is available on the usfirst.org website. And so if you were to go up here to usfirst.org and go to FRC, the season calendar is right here. You can find all of this and all of the other important dates that you should be looking at are right here on this calendar. We try not to duplicate too much of that on our local website just so that we can keep everything consistent. All right. I think that is enough on important dates. I'll pause a little bit. If you have any questions, type them in the chat box. Otherwise, we're going to move right along to the details of where our district events are. I did get a few questions. People weren't exactly sure where everything was. So I'm just going to let you take a look at this real quick. There is a copy of this, I believe, also on our website. There's also, these slides will be available up on our website. So Western Washington, Auburn Mountain View High School down in Auburn, Glacier Peak High School up in Snohomish, Mount Vernon High School up in Mount Vernon, Shorewood, which is over in the Shoreline area. That's on week 4. And week 5 is at Auburn High School. In Central and Eastern Washington, we've got week 5 is at Central Washington University. Week 3 is at Eastern Washington University, or it may end up at West Valley. We're still not sure yet. We're looking to see when, we won't know the exact location until February for that. So like we've said before, if you have registered for week 3, you need to be prepared for the 50-50 chance that we're going to be at West Valley rather than Eastern Washington University. The Oregon events will be at Oregon City on week 2. That's March 6th through March 8th. Wilsonville is week 4, and OSU down at Gill Coliseum down at Oregon State University. And then the championships will be week 7, which is April 10th through the 12th at Portland at Memorial Stadium, like they've always been in the past. And then about 2 weeks later, we're going to be having the championships in St. Louis, the World Championships. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you. From the original time that we did this briefing, we now have a much clearer picture how many teams we have. We currently have 154 teams registered, which means that each event is going to have 36 teams. So we downsized a little bit. We didn't get as many new teams as we thought we were going to. So each event we're shooting for 36 teams. Now, in addition to this calendar, which you can see is pretty tight, the distance between knowing for sure when you're going to go to the district championship and actually and your last event is pretty short. You'll probably have a pretty good feel for your standings somewhere in week 5 or 6, but some of you will be close to the line. So we're going to really highly recommend that you deal with the schedule. If your team if you're in a school that has some bureaucratic issues about scheduling things very quickly, you'll need to do a little bit of advanced work on that. Find out what the needs are, and you're just going to have to go to the school and say, hey, this is our calendar. This is what we are planning for. We're hoping to make it to district championships. If so, here's what we need to arrange in travel plans. Honestly, all of your sports teams already have to do this. It shouldn't be news on how to deal with this with your school's administration. I know that bureaucracies can be a kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but with enough advance notice, they should be able to work this out. Again, this is just dealing with this sort of short schedule like this is kind of incumbent on you to work that out in advance with your principal and your school's administration. Okay? Any questions about that? Comments about that? All right. We'll move right along then. Just a map that goes with that chart before. This is this year's team distributions. So you can see we've put events in sort of central areas where we felt that teams would be able to travel to, and we went ahead and pushed the boundaries on a couple. We're headed a little bit farther north to Mount Vernon in Washington State, and we headed a little bit farther south into Corvallis in Oregon. And our hope by doing that is that by kind of expanding out in both directions, we'll get some more participation in the teams in those areas. As the program grows, we will try to do our best to make sure that we get as close as we can to as many teams as we can. Ellensburg is kind of dead center of the state of Washington, and we felt that was a sort of a good mix of allowing some western and eastern Washington teams to sort of meet in the middle. It's about a 2.5 hour drive from either direction. So there was a plan behind that. They aren't completely arbitrary. Okay, that wraps that up. And just so everybody is clear, this is a different schedule than we've had in the past. We start on Thursday night. You do not need to come on Wednesday night unless you're a volunteer. Volunteers are different, but teams, you're loading in Thursday starting at 5 p.m. at all of our venues. So so the students, hopefully you can get down there. It turns out you don't have to be there exactly at 5. If you showed up at 6 or 6:30 or 7, that's fine. Okay. So you're going to arrive. You're going to set up your pits. We are going to hope that you're going to jump right in the inspection line and get going. We will be finishing much later. The pits don't close until about 10. I'll show you the other schedule. Friday, we run qualification matches all day. It's a long day. Saturday runs just like a normal FRC Saturday. It's qualifications matches in the morning, final rounds and team departures in the evening. Okay. This is the schedule. I'm not going to go through it in fine detail, but you can see it Thursday 5 to 10. Friday, pits open at 8. They close at 8. Saturday pits open at 8, and that should say 6 o'clock down here at the bottom. I'll let you go through this schedule by downloading the slides a little bit later. All right. Also, the big change that, and here, so now we're going to start talking about some of the changes that experienced teams need to be planning for. With the district model, you still get your 30 pounds of prefab withholding, so you can hold 30 pounds off your robot, work on it, fix it, do whatever you want to do, and you can mount those during your robot access period, or you can mount them on Thursday. Completely up to you. We are still working with FIRST on our idea of pre-inspecting robots. They think it's a good idea, but I haven't gotten a final yay or nay from FIRST. I'm working on that. We should have a definitive answer for that soon. Every week you get 6 hours of robot access period at home in your own shop. So that means that anything that needs to get fixed, you get to take the robot out for 2-hour blocks. You can have 3 2-hour blocks of time where you take the robot out of the bag, work on something, and put it away. You only get 3 of them. There, no 6 1-hour periods. They don't allow that. Okay, so you need to do some planning. All right. Other changes, and I have to go over this again because it turns out that some of our venues, the pits are small, and these are much smaller than venues that you're used to. So I'm going to go through this one more time. Most of our venues have between 12 and 1,400 seats. For 36 teams with 30 people, that's about 1,020 people. You know, I know that some teams are a little bigger than others, but you know, if you have a really big team, you might need to take that into account. Okay. Proximity to services is different than our commercial venues. We are quite often in neighborhoods. You think about where your high school is. You may be in a suburb. You may be in a rural area. A couple of these are in somewhat rural, sort of suburban areas. There may not be services right across the street. So keep that in mind. Okay. The really cool thing, you may bring your own food. You may bring your own water. That is an enormous amount of savings for you. We're pretty excited about that. So yay, that'll be pretty good. Generally, all of the facilities will have some concessions of some sort or another, and we are working on plans for providing outside catering, which basically means calling Jimmy John's or Domino's or something, in addition to whatever we can work out with the schools. A lot of these schools have catering programs that may be willing to offer up a boxed lunch. Okay, we're still working out the details of that. Cassandra Reynolds has asked regarding the this previous slide. Will trained inspectors be coming to your shop, or will to your own shop to inspect your robot? And the answer is a very qualified maybe. It depends on where you are, and it depends on whether we can arrange to schedule somebody to help out with that. We've got a couple of options in the pipeline, and we'll probably implement all 3. We'll probably have somebody somewhere open up a facility. We're likely to use the Washington First Robotics facility, for example. In Kent, Washington, we'll probably set one up in Tacoma, and probably somewhere on the north end where you can bring your robot in and get it inspected. Also, we'll see what we can do about getting volunteer inspectors to come to your school. And if you are in a more rural area, we are going to try and set up a system where we can train one of your volunteers to be a certified robot inspector and give them the authority to open the bag, do an inspection, and put it back in the bag. You may not touch the robot for any other reason other than just the inspection. Okay? All right. Thank you, Alan. I will get you guys on the list. All righty. Here we go. So let's talk at great length about the pit area, because there are some very important changes for you to consider. We believe we are still going to be able to give everybody a 10-foot by 10-foot pit space. Yay. I know some of us already have those built. The aisles may only be 9 feet wide. I know that's going to be the case in Shorewood, for example, and some of the other schools where we're trying to, fit ourselves into these smaller auxiliary spaces. Now, a lot, if not actually most of our pit spaces are going to be on hardwood floors, which means it's your responsibility not to damage the floor. And so we just we just bought a whole bunch of floor coverings. Just as an aside, it turned out the floor coverings showed up today. The pallet weighed 4,000 pounds. That's 2 tons. So the poor driver, it took him, I think, the better part of an hour. He got the pallet, which was as wide as the truck, got stuck. So anyway, so we have a lot of tarps. They're big, heavy tarps. However, they are just vinyl, so you can still damage the floor. It costs about 24 grand to refinish a floor, so we don't want to go there. So please be sure that whatever you're doing for pit decorations does not have sharp edges on the bottom. So if you're using extruded aluminum, I know some of you do, we do not want you to place the extruded aluminum edges directly on the ground. Please plan to put something like a 2-inch by 2-inch or 3-inch by 3-inch block. Maybe you can use like 1/2-inch plywood or something under as feet under all of those sorts of things. If you're bringing in sharp-edged furniture or those sorts of things, you need to protect the floor. Okay, we completely reserve the right to ask you to take whatever it is, pick it up, and carry it out of the room. So please plan accordingly. We just can't afford to fix a floor. All right. The other thing is every team is going to be required to bring a 2-foot by 2-foot by 1/2-inch piece of plywood. That is what you're going to pound on if you have to pound on things. All right? So please take care of that. Jason is Jason Onoda, I think I didn't butcher your name, has asked, would plastic end pieces for the extruded aluminum be okay for protection? We prefer that you put something with a bigger footprint, because we've found in the past that even a chair, even putting a folding chair with rubber feet down on a hardwood floor can sometimes cause damage. So we'd really prefer, if you've got anything that could move or rub or be slid around a little bit, think about putting it on, put some sort of protection under it. Okay, 1/2-inch plywood, 1/4-inch plywood is fine. Just something to distribute the load so that you don't have a point load on the hardwood. Hopefully that made sense. So I prefer not to just use a simple plastic cover. Your mileage may vary.
Hey Kevin, can I bring up one more thing?
Sure.
Can people make sure that the wheels on their carts are in good working order and that they're actually rolling? Because that's another thing.
Dude, I've got an entire slide on that. Here comes the
never mind.
slides.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
Oh, thank you for doing that. Yes, we damaged the floor this year, folks. So we're especially sensitive to this. Okay. Ben has asked, when you say pounding like a rubber mallet hammer? No, if you need to pound or put something on the ground and hit it, since we're not on a concrete floor, or if you have to put something heavy on the ground or do something that you think might potentially damage the floor, we want that 2-foot by 2-foot piece of plywood underneath whatever you're doing. Okay. All right. So pit power. The pit power is limited. In the past, we've had convention-style power. I'm now going to play a game with you. If I know that some of you are in a group, please guess how much the electricity cost at, say, CenturyLink Field. How much did it cost Washington First Robotics to have the pit power put in? Think about it for a sec. When I get to the end, I'll tell you how much it was. Okay, pit power is limited. Almost all of our venues were running off of generators. So what that means is that we're bringing in like a 20 kW generator. We are bringing in a reasonable amount of cordage. But we are going to put like 5 or 6 teams on a single 20 amp circuit. We have done this before at Girls Generation, and we've never had a problem with putting like 6 teams. In fact, actually we had 24 teams on 2 20 amp circuits at Girls Gen Tahoma. We believe that that is plenty of power for this. Having said that, please realize we are shutting the power off overnight, so you'll need to make arrangements to have your own, to take your batteries home to charge them overnight. Please don't bring compressors or anything else that has large motors. I know that teams oftentimes bring like a pancake-style compressor. We just don't have the power in these facilities. Gymnasiums just don't have the power for it. So please help us out with that. You are limited to 2 battery chargers per team. And we mean charging 2 batteries, okay? I know some of you have those really big quick chargers. They draw about 10 amps each. I have no guarantees that you'll be able to use those. So please take that into consideration. 2 batteries charging at a time. There are probably outlets on the walls in various places in the school. You're not allowed to use those. So please don't, okay? If you are bringing in lighting, try and use low wattage. Try and use LED bulbs if you can. You're welcome to put in, 50 or 60 watts of lighting, and if you were to use LED lighting, you'd find that that is an enormous amount of light, okay? High school gyms, especially where we're playing, they have very little power. Most of them have exactly 2 120-volt circuits. We need one of them for the field control system. We need the other one for the audiovisual system. You are not allowed at any time to plug your battery charger in the main gym. You're also probably not allowed, in fact, I'm going to say it right off the bat, we probably don't have enough power for you to plug in your laptops in the gyms either. So if you're planning on doing scouting in the gyms, and I know I catch grief from this every year, we don't have power for you. You need to do it on laptops. Yes, you can come argue with me about it some other day. However, you still won't be able to plug in. Sorry. I wish I had better news for you, but these gyms just, they don't have enough power. We barely have enough power to run the show. All right? So that we got several of those. Okay, so now you're wondering, how much did it cost Washington First Robotics to put in power at CenturyLink Field? For 3 days, the total bill came to $22,300. Yes, I did say that, $22,300. So if you would like us to have a lot of power and you have $22,300 that you would like to contribute to Washington First Robotics, you're free to talk to me and we'll tell you how you can help. It's ridiculous, but I agree. It's totally ridiculous. All right. Let's talk about so what you need to bring for your pits. We want you to bring a 15-foot extension cord because you may be very close to the power outlet, and we want you to bring, say, somewhere between a 25 and a 40-foot extension cord. 16 or 14 gauge is fine. You do not need to bring anything heavier than that. You need to bring a 2-foot by 2-foot pounding board. If it was a 1/2 inch, we're happy. 3/4 fine. Okay. Now, do us the following requirement. You should label your team number on both ends of your extension cord. That way, if we can tell who's plugged into a specific circuit, and we can come warn you if we need to unplug things. If you don't label it, we're going to unplug you, and tough. So there you go. All right. How am I doing so far? Here come the wheel requirements. This one's really important, so please pay attention and please follow these instructions as best you can. All of our venues in the high schools have cord covers. They're called yellow jackets. You've probably seen them before. They're black. They have a yellow stripe on the top, and we run these big power cords through them. They are 2 inches tall. If you need to drive over one of those, you need to be able to clear at least a 2-inch at least 2 inches. So we are requiring you this year, you are required to have 3-inch or larger wheels. Bigger is better. My team uses 5-inch wheels, okay? Get big wheels. If you show up with small wheels, we will not allow you to use your cart. The wheels must be in good working order. So please don't get the cheapest casters you can find. Find something that's rubber, that's maybe at least 1 inch wide. If your wheel is damaged or stuck or is dragging on the floor, we won't allow you to use your cart. So please pay attention to that. There is a maximum weight for your cart as well, and that will be 100 pounds per every inch of wheel size. Okay? So if you're using 3-inch wheels, the maximum load on any cart that you're bringing into the building is going to be 300 pounds. Bigger wheels distribute the load across a bigger surface from a rubber wheel, and so you can use a slightly heavier cart. But we're going to be pretty sticky about this. because we don't want to damage anybody's floors. Schools are particularly nervous about this. By no circumstance will your cart be allowed or anything be allowed with wheels less than 2 inches. Whoops, that should have said 3 inches. Okay. We saw a lot of very, let's just say, creative wheels showing up at a lot of the events on toolboxes, on push dollies, and those sorts of things. 2 inches will not work. We need you to have 3 inches. All right. We saw damage on the floors at Girls' Generation from teams who had a wheel locked and another wheel that was broken. So there you go. All your wheels, you were not allowed to use steel wheels. We really would prefer that you didn't use hard plastic wheels either. So I know some of you have like Husky rolling toolboxes. They have those cheap big plastic wheels. Those tend to mar up floors pretty badly. Please invest in decent casters. Okay. If we think that your wheels are too sharp, we won't let you in the building. Good. I beat that to death. But don't show up at the event and get mad at us because we're going to enforce this vigorously. We are enforcing this very vigorously. Good. Everybody's happy with that. How did I do, Adrian? Did I get everything?
I think you did. You're doing great.
All right. Okay, so those are sort of the big changes to the pits. Remember, they're tight. We are on somebody's gym floor. There is a very nice hardwood floor at pretty much all of our venues underneath you. So, and we'll be giving you more instructions about making sure that you know how to clean up after yourselves and not to damage our new tarps. We just spent $12,000 on these tarps. We prefer that they last a few years. So please be nice to our equipment so that we don't have to raise your registration fees anytime soon. All right. Third district plays. So everybody got to register twice, and most everybody did. There are a couple of teams still need to get that second registration in. You may play a third time, and we encourage you to do that. The cost is pretty reasonable. It's $1,000 for your third play. Now, to be clear, you only get to earn points in your first 2 plays. That is done in chronological order of play. Okay, so it's the earliest 2 by calendar date are the 2 that you'll get points for. The last one you will not. This is a great way if you've got other students who would like to drive or you would like to gain more experience on your journey to championships. We highly recommend it. Just a hint, most of the really great teams that are coming out of the district model in Michigan and MAR, they typically play that third time. That experience of getting out there and playing is pretty valuable for those teams. So something to be said for that. And again, registration opens on Thursday the 12th, and it is first come, first serve. It opens about 9 a.m., so you'll want to watch out for that. And we will try and do our best to accommodate you. All right. New this year, Dean's List has changed. If you are doing Dean's List submission, you should do it for 2 of your students. Preference is given to juniors, sophomores and juniors. We'd really like to see the juniors in on this. This year, all of the Dean's List candidates will be doing an interview. The interviews can happen on Saturday morning. It works somewhat similar to how we do chairman's judging. There's going to be a small judge panel, 2 or 3 judges, and they'll get a chance to talk to each one of the Dean's List nominees from your team. The interview only lasts about 5, maybe 10 minutes at the absolute max, and it's really just a chance for the judges to ask questions about the Dean's List submissions. The finalists will be announced from our district. The finalists will be announced at the district championship in Portland. So we are going to send X number of Dean's List finalists to World Championships. We are still, as our group is still in discussion with New Hampshire, and well, basically, I'm part of the group that's helping to figure out how many are going. We haven't decided that yet. It is not final, so I can't tell you how many Dean's List award winners or nominees leave from our district championship. It will be more than 2, but less than, say, 100. I would expect it to be somewhere in the 6 to 10 range. We need to find out. I don't know the answer to that. Okay, some questions about third plays popped up. Thank you for asking them. I'm going to back up one. Now, third plays, actually, I think I've got it. No, okay. What'd I do? I just clicked on something on this screen. You can't see it, but I just managed to screw this up. There we go. Okay, you only earn points for the first 2. However, you are still eligible. So by points, we mean district qualification points. You only earn them in the first 2. You are eligible to win Chairman's Award and any of the other awards at any event that you go to. Okay, so if you're going for a third play, you may win Chairman's, you could win Engineering Inspiration, and in any of those other awards, and still get a shot. So just saying. Okay, and Dennis is asking, you get the best 2 of the 3 for points. No, it's the first 2 in chronological order. Are the interviews done? Dale's asking about Dean's List interviews. Are the interviews done first at the district events or just the championships? The interviews at the moment we are planning at doing just at the district events. We may have callback interviews at the district championship. We're still working on the details of that. Are Chairman's and Dean's List still relevant for third play? We are going to take your Dean's List nominees. You get 2 of them for the season. They will be done at your first 2 in chronological order. So we will have them done before your third play. I believe freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors are eligible, but I believe it's been stated many times before that there's a preference given to juniors. I'm going to claim slight ignorance on, there's a lot of moving parts and I don't know the exact details of that, okay? How will interviews interfere with being on a drive team? Great question, Cassandra. We will make accommodations for that. We're still figuring that out. Thank you for pointing that out, and let me see what I can do to get that resolved. Well, Jen from Glacier Peak asked a very interesting question. Jen this is actually a very interesting question, and so for third plays, may we use a different robot than used in our first 2 district events? I'm going to be conservative and say no. I'm going to say no to that, Jen. That's a great question. You're normally not allowed to swap robots in between 2 events. And so I can't imagine that we're going to allow a swap into the third play. However, having said that, I will ask Frank Merrick about it. I'm going to be talking to him next week. It's an interesting question. I'm going to guess he's going to say no. However, you can throw on a different 30 pounds. What else do we have? Grant has asked if teams were inclined to provide an extra floor barrier over the vinyl, are there recommendations? Grant, I appreciate that question. Some teams have suggested using the soft tiles that you would see at an FTC event. I think we're okay with that. They're actually kind of nice to walk on. Be careful what you put down on it. Heavy things, they could sink into it, but that would work. And if you wanted to bring some other more rigid material, if you could do it in like 2 foot by 2 foot sections, we'd prefer that you didn't try and carry in 4 by 8 sheets of things. But if you did like 2 by 2 sections or even 4 by 2 by 2s would work, maybe 4 by 4 and some 2 foot sections or something like that. Full sheets will be a little bit big. Okay. Sally's asked a great question. Will inspectors be able to come to remote areas? We're hoping we can get a few, Sally. Otherwise, we do have a plan for trying to train a volunteer of your designation. If you can find somebody who would be willing to be a certified robot inspector, we'll put them through our materials and they'll be able to inspect. This is not your final inspection for the year. So, but we do insist on if there is going to be inspection that the person be certified and we know who they are so that they're allowed to sign the form. Are we able to make changes in 3 2-hour blocks? Let's see. If we're able to make changes in 3 2-hour blocks, do we still need to get a change? Do we still get to change out our 30 pounds at the event? Michael's asking, can I still bring 30 pounds of withheld materials to your event? Yes, you may. Okay, I'm going to move on here because I have no idea what time it is, but we're doing good. Dean's List judging. Okay, so interviews in the morning. They last 5 to 10 minutes, and the Dean's List finalists, the ones that are going to World Championships, will be announced at the district championships. We're really hoping that we're going to find a way to make it so that everybody who is a nominee gets somehow a chance to come to the district championship. We realize that may not be possible at all times, but we will make arrangements. If there's some sort of callback or something, we'll be able to get a hold of those who are not traveling. Okay. Advancing from district events, just to make sure everybody's clear on this, 64 teams of the now 154, I need to change that slide, 64 of our 154 teams will advance to the regional championships in Portland. Advancement to the regional championships is based on the point system. Each of your first 2 events, you will receive points. The points are added together between the 2 events to form your district ranking. The top teams, as well as the 10 district chairman award-winning teams, will advance. Other award advancements are no longer under discussion. I'm sorry, I didn't change this slide appropriately. The only ones that have an automatic advancement to the next level will be the chairman's award-winning teams. Okay? Everybody else gets points. Hopefully that would make sense. Now, let me reemphasize something that sometimes isn't clear when we talk about this. Each event has a full set of FRC awards. There will be a winning alliance, a finalist alliance, all of the awards that you're used to. All of that happens at each district event. Trophies are handed out, all of that. Okay? The district point model is done alongside and separate from each individual event. So you are still eligible to win all of those awards and get trophies and get down there and receive your accolades. Happens at every event. The advancement, however, to get from one to the next has entirely to do with your district points. Okay? Okay, so no rookie all-stars. No, rookie all-stars do get extra points though. And you get extra points for some of the awards. Yes, you do get extra points for rookie all-star. You get extra points for chairman's award. You get extra points for engineering inspiration. All other awards are worth 5 points. Okay. You can win chairman's award at exactly 1 event. If you win it, yay, good for you. You won't win it again at the district level. You could still win chairman's at the district championship level. Okay? All right. There's going to be tons of questions about this, I know. Okay. Advancing from district championships to St. Louis. 24 teams advanced from the Pacific Northwest District Championship to the World Championships in St. Louis. There are judged awards that advance. It's going to likely be, and they haven't released this yet, but it's very likely to be like 3 of the top 3 ranked chairman's award, a rookie all-star, an engineering inspiration, the winning alliance. Okay, so I believe that's like 9 of the teams, 8 of the teams. 8 of the teams are going based on those, and then the rest is your district ranking points. I'll go through this in slightly more detail before you ask me too many questions about that. I know I don't want to keep people too long because a lot of people have seen that part of the presentation. I will talk a great deal bit more about points here in just a couple of slides. Okay. Woody Flowers judging works just like it has in the past. The Woody Flowers awards are only given out at the district championship. Okay, so there are no Woody Flower awards at each individual event. Hopefully that made sense to you. However, we will be announcing who the Woody Flower nominees are at each district event. So we will be taking a moment to congratulate and fill your team full of pride. And your Woody Flower award winner does not need to be present at the district championship to advance, right? So that is handled through an entirely separate judging mechanism, okay? Can you get more than one award? At each event, you will get at most one judged award, okay? A full explanation of the point system is available. I'm going to get to that next. I Saul, I'm not 100% sure what you're asking. What happened with engineering innovation advancement mentioned at First Fair? I don't know what got mentioned at First Fair. One engineering inspiration award goes from our district championship to the world championships. Okay? Can we apply for awards such as chairman's at more than one event? Yes, you may. You may now apply for chairman's at every event that you go to. So that's a change. In the past, you've only been able to do that at one. Okay? Okay, we're sort of doing a nosedive into some details. I love the questions. Keep asking them. I'm going to get through a couple more slides, and then I will sit here as long as needed to answer as many questions as you guys want to come up with. All right. Let's talk. We're going to talk just a couple of minutes about the point system to make sure everybody's on board with what it is, how it works. I'm going to go through it in like 4 slides or less. It's kind of the Reader's Digest version of it, but hopefully this will make sense to you. The deal behind the point system, which is a change from what we've done in the past, is we wanted a chance to rank all of the teams fairly based on their cumulative effort during the season. Okay? We wanted to do something called removing the Valleys of Doom, and I'll show you that on the next slide. But it turns out that a traditional FRC event is slightly unfair to some of the better teams. You'll see why here in just a second. So we're trying to reward teams for doing a good job, playing a very consistent and reliable game, and doing it consistently and well. And we felt that that was important. And we wanted our highest ranked teams to be able to feel good about the fact that they had a chance to advance. All right? Now, there is a document that describes the point model system. The URL was so absurdly long that I put it in a link. You can find it on our website at firstwa.org. Go to the FRC menus, webinars, and you'll end up seeing the following page, which will take you to some will take you somewhere else. Sorry, wrong one. Okay, so go to FRC, webinars, team briefing. If you click on that, this is the link that you're looking for. It's really long and nasty, but there it is if you want to click on it and take a look at it. All right, so it is very, very terse. I apologize for that. They did just recently, a couple of days ago, add some more to it, but it is still very terse and sort of dense. It doesn't tell you why we did this, so I'm going to now spend just a minute to make sure you understand why, and hopefully you will agree with us that it's a good thing. Here's what we were trying to get rid of. In a traditional FRC event, The axis is here. C1, C2, C3, C4. These are the captains of the alliances. So if you were the captain of the #1 alliance, which means you were the highest seeded team, your chances of winning the event are actually quite high, as you can see here. Your chances of being a semifinalist are also quite high. This is statistically determined. They went through years of data to determine all this stuff. So what the valleys of doom that we're trying to get rid of is, if you were the captain of the #8 alliance, your chances of winning the event are actually pretty low, okay? But look what happens. There's a jump. It jumps back up for the first pick. All of a sudden, their likelihood of winning the event jumps way up, right? And then it heads back down. And then this valley of doom here in the center, people found particularly disturbing because it turns out that the 16th pick during alliance selection, which especially in a smaller event, is getting down to the teams that may have not actually performed all that well. Their likelihood of advancing to the next level, to World Championships, is right on par with the captain of the #1 and #2 alliance. And look what happened to the guys who were the second place captain, right? So these are the valleys of doom that the attempt was, let's try and fix that, all right? Hopefully that makes sense to you as you're looking at this. If you think about alliance selection, the last team picked, usually one of the weaker teams, is getting a big advantage over teams who actually performed pretty well and were even like captains of an alliance. And right, so we tried to fix that. Here's how it was done. This is using our district model points. This is 2013 first in Michigan averages. You can see what happens is that the points earned, because we're using a point system now, that blue line you can see, even though they were 16th pick, draft pick, and they did better, they're still not ranked up as high as, like the captain of the second and third and fourth place alliance. I mean, they just didn't earn enough points, right? So this sort of evens out those valleys of doom and really helps out. Why is this important? Those of you who have been to World Championships, as I have in many years in the past, at least since, say, around 2009, who's on Einstein? Michigan's on Einstein. Why? Well, we always thought that it was because of General Motors and Ford and those guys. Turns out it's because they're sending their best teams to World Championships, not a couple of good teams and then some random team, okay? So this is the most confusing graph in history. Let me explain it to you. These are the years across the bottom, and the lines in here are showing Michigan, California, and Texas. Those are three regions, all roughly the same size. Before the district model, which Michigan started in the 2008 season, you can see that they were sort of down here around 4% or so. It turns out afterwards, their chances of getting to the eliminations at World Championships went up. I mean, it didn't go up huge, but it went up pretty significantly. It went up about 200%, 200-300%. Is it because their teams are better? No, it's because they ended up sending a better class of teams, okay? We're not sure what happened to Texas, but California didn't really change much. I mean, they're sort of still floating around in this general band. So Michigan will point out the fact that their teams are not, they're still high school students. They compete to win, but they really believe it's because they sent their best teams. All right? So with that, here is my attempt at trying to summarize what is in that document graphically. You're going to play two district events. Your ranking points are determined by your win-loss record. So you're going to get 2 points for winning, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss. If you are an alliance captain, First, the captain of the number 1 alliance gets 16 points. Captain of the number 8 gets 8 points. So it kind of descends. The interesting thing here is your draft pick. And this is a really interesting feature of what Michigan ended up doing. They realized that teams who get drafted are typically pretty strong teams, especially if they're picked like first, second, or third place. They're usually a very strong team. So this sort of gives you a peer review. So what happens is if you are the first draft pick, you're also going to get 16 points. And then it goes all the way down to 1. So if you're that last pick, you're going to get 1 point. Okay? So it sort of evens things out, if you will. And I got to hand it to them. I was very skeptical when I first looked at their point system. I spent the better part of 3 months going through all the details with Michigan, MAR, the Northeast, with the staff at first. We argued it up one side, down the other. I got to admit, hats off to the Michigan guys. They did an extraordinarily good job at setting up this point system. It makes a lot of sense. They have enormous numbers of simulations. They have enormous amounts of of taking previous year's data, running it through the new point system, and it works. Okay, so if you are the and by the way, the confusing thing, everybody always asks this: if you are you get your alliance ranking and your draft pick, this is all done after the fact. Okay, so what that means is that we will assign you points later after the game. If you are the alliance captain, you'll get N number of points. If you are the draft pick, N number of points. So if you were the second alliance captain and got picked by the first alliance captain, you get 16 points. But you're no longer the second alliance captain, right? Does that make sense? You will only get 16 points. You don't get 31 points. Common question. I'll put that to rest. This does make mathematical sense. Everybody is asking that question. I've got about 8. I get this question constantly. Okay? All right. Your points added together gives you your district ranking. We will take the top 64 teams, well, actually the top 54 teams, including the chairman's winners. Those teams advance to our district championship. At the district championship, exact same calculations, but we take your final district championship points and multiply that by 3. Reason for that: we did not want it to be possible for a team winning one event to make it all the way to St. Louis. So that means you got to bring your A game to the district championships. It's a much tougher field. We're down to the top 64 teams. If you win here, if you place well here, you should get bonus points for that. Okay? 24 teams from Pacific Northwest are going to St. Louis. 18 of them will be picked off of the ranking list. The other 8 of them are going based on judged awards and by being the winning alliance. Whew. There you go. How was it? I'm going to answer. So I'm going to finish up here. I'm trying not to hold people too much longer. I will sit here and answer the endless stream of questions I'm going to get about district model points. We'll go through it in great detail. Thank you so much for doing this. One more slide. Again, if you can help us, we need help with adults to judge at First Legal League events. December, we've got events pretty much every week. If you would like to help us, we would really appreciate it. It's sort of one of the responsibilities you take on as being a member of the FIRST community. We're trying to fill the pipeline of students coming onto your team. We're trying to increase the number of people who have an opportunity to go and participate in this really cool volunteer activity. So what we'd like you to do is to sign up, if you can, go to volunteerfirstwa.org, check out the dates. There are a ton of dates for you to choose from. Sign up as a volunteer, pick an FLL event from our events list, and I'm going to just show you how to do it. It's really quick. It's really easy. Here's volunteer at firstwa.org. I've already created myself an account, so I'm just going to log in real quick. Simple, easy. Thanks to the Saxtons, by the way. Whoops. I'm talking and not typing in my password correctly. Okay, I can come up here, I can look at events. I've already logged on and filled in my information. I'm going to go pick, hey, I'm going to go pick a first LEGO League event. So I turn all these off, and I can look around on here, and I can say, oh, I'm going to go volunteer. There's an event. So here's the details, tell you when it is. I can volunteer for this event. I'm going to head all the way down here to the bottom. I can help to be a tech judge, a project judge, a core values judge, a team observation judge. The judging, this is the cheeriest job ever. You will have more fun doing this. We really appreciate your help with that. So log on, create an account. Please be sure to come in, select an event, and we really, really appreciate you doing that. So you come down here, click Tech Judge, come up here, submit a volunteer offer. Just that easy. Whoops. I'm available on Saturday is the day. Friday is only for setup. There we go. There, I volunteered to be a judge. Great time. Okay? So that is just that easy. We'd love every team to have at least one person, one adult volunteer to be an FLL judge. If you know others that you'd like to get involved, we really appreciate having them as well. There you go. There's my plug, my commercial plug. Off we go. Last slide. There are a lot of things coming up on the calendar. We're excited about that. There's a lot of stuff happening. The district model is going to require some changes on all of our parts. And so please help us by paying attention to the changes that we're feeding you. Don't assume that it's exactly the same as it's been in the past. It is not. We really wish for your help on that. The point system is a good thing. I've spent months with it. I believe in it. I think it is a good thing for our teams. It's a good thing for our students. We all get to play more. We all get to advance based on merit. It's really good. So we're really excited about the upcoming season. We'd love to have every team help out by either being FLL judges or at least make sure that you've got a team member or two who volunteers for the FRC events that you're going to. We'd really appreciate that. Whether we can use them or not, we're not sure. But please sign up to help out at our events. We're running a lot of events. We need a lot of people. This year we're going to use over 1,200 volunteers just for FRC alone. So we need your help with that. Questions or concerns? There's my email address, kevinr@firstwa.org. Thank you so much for attending this. I am going to hang out here for a few minutes and answer any questions that come up. You're welcome to hang out with us. Otherwise, that's all the end of my formal presentation. All right. Let's go back to the question box. Dale is asking a good question. Do you know anything about travel arranged to St. Louis given the championships are 2 weeks from world champs? Okay, chartering a plane is out. It's horridly expensive. It's actually much more expensive than you'd imagine. We are working with a couple of airlines trying to get us cut rate deals. Here's our problem. We're trying to work on a solution to this. The problem is that the airlines and the hotels have asked Washington First Robotics to be the responsible party for paying for any unused tickets. We're trying to work out the details for this. We're trying to do this, but it turns out that 240 hotel rooms in St. Louis for the week is a $200,000 bill that I don't have the money to cover. Now, I know that we'll sell most of the seats, but to be honest with you, I don't have the money to cover even one or two teams not bailing on us. So we will try and work something out. Adrian is working with Steel Meetings to reserve a couple blocks of rooms, but we don't have the financial wherewithal to sign on the dotted line. Ditto for airline reservations. We are working on it. We're going to see what we can come up with. We may try and release some details and get teams to, we may need to ask teams to, sign a pledge saying that if we reserve these airplane tickets, that they will get bought and used, right? So that's kind of the only way that we're going to be able to do this. So we have great desire to do this, but it is an enormous financial risk that would bankrupt us, and we would never be able to do the district model again. Have you inquired of other states how they're covering that bill? Other states are not doing this. Other states, Michigan is actually within reasonable driving distance, and the other states just teams are on their own. Okay. Other questions? What is the plan for the district to quickly report the ranking results? So we're trying to work with Michigan and MAR, and we're trying to come up with an easy-to-use IT system that we can upload the results as quickly as possible. They currently sit there and type in the results manually into a spreadsheet, and then they publish them to a website. That may be what we're going to do. Okay. All right. Michael Chan had asked, will the top 8 teams be able to pick within the top 8? Will the captain of the first place alliance pick number 2, bumping C to second place, etc.? Yes. The reality is that alliance selection, actually the entire event runs just like you're used to. There are almost no changes whatsoever to how the event runs. The point assignments actually happen after the event. Okay, so the district point system does not impact how the event runs at all. The only thing it changes is that highest rookie seed is now a trophy. It's still an award, but it isn't an award anymore. The distinction being is you don't get points for it. Okay. I'm going to come back up here. Hopefully these answers aren't coming out too quickly. All right. So I guess it's 8:10 or 8:12. If there are any other questions, fire away. Otherwise, I think we'll call it a wrap. Okay. Oh, here we go. Thanks for the webinar. I appreciate that very much, Zachary. Zachary is encouraged by the district model. We got a 2 thumbs up, so we appreciate that. Actually, there's several other 2 thumbs up. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a great thing. Okay, well, with that, I guess we are done for the night. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and we will have another briefing as soon as we generate up enough information that we feel that we're not going to that we need to get with you. I'm going to guess we'll do something probably in mid-January. All right. Thank you so much.